Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Unquestionably Raw NBA podcast. We are continuing our season previews. We've got the New Orleans Pelicans today, and I've got my man James Hollis with us again, and once again, Brady Klopfer. And real quick, just a quick shout-out. I want to shout out all my people in Houston going through Hurricane Harvey, all the devastating flooding, all our thoughts and our prayers are with all of y'all. So I wanted to say that. But I want to start with we're doing the Pelicans, and I want to start with some of the offseason moves. Obviously, they re-signed Drew Holiday. You sign Rajon Rondo. Ian Clark. And I want to go to you, James. What did you think of what they did this offseason? I mean, it didn't seem like they had the greatest offseason in the world, unless you're a big Rondo fan.
Yeah, they didn't do enough because that's the thing. What they really needed was more, and it's really hard to do because everybody wants the same thing right now. You want long perimeter guys who can switch a couple positions and shoot threes. That's what you really want, and it's hard to come by. So, I don't trust handing the reins over to Rondo ever. If you want to be really good, not in this day and age. We'll see though. I guess I know he had a nice little run at the end of the season with Chicago. I guess kind of. You got a lot of overlap with Drew Holiday and Rondo, and now you're taking the ball out of Drew's hands, and you still got those two big men. And let's see if their coaching staff can put together an offensive attack that makes the best use of them. I think they were combining for like over 50 points and 30 rebounds a game last season. So that's a nice start, but they got to get more around those guys.
Absolutely. What about bringing in Ian Clark? You think he's going to be able to do anything for the Pelicans?
For sure, because those big guys are going to draw double teams. They're going to draw so much attention. Drew Holiday is really, really good. I hope to see more Ian Clark than Rondo on the floor because Rondo just can't space it out, man. So Ian, we know true. Ian's like he's a kind of a Patty Mills type. He can hit wide open shots, hit threes off of quick pull ups. So he'll fit right in, but he just doesn't have the size, man. They need more size on the perimeter.
Absolutely, I totally agree, and we're going to get to that when we get to the lineups and all that stuff in a little bit. Brady, what did you think of the Pelicans offseason?
Not very good. Definitely not very good. You have a team that wasn't that close to the playoffs last year, and your only notable offseason move is signing a guy who you already had on that team. Like James said, they didn't do enough, especially in that loaded conference. The Rondo move is just so weird because not only is he not good anymore, but you just re-signed your supposedly franchise point guard for $125 million, and then the first thing you do is you relegate him to shooting guard. But the one thing I'll say that is potentially in their favor is Rondo and Cousins are good friends, and Cousins has made it clear that he wants to play with Rondo. So
absolutely.
Really, their biggest goal this year isn't winning. It's convincing DeMarcus Cousins to re-sign in free agency. Opposite of what Sacramento did, make him feel listened to, make him feel respected, make him feel like he's an important part of the franchise. Then that makes that contract worthwhile, even if on the floor it's a really bad move. I hate the fact that they didn't go out and add any wing players.
Yes.
That doesn't have a small forward, and there weren't that many in free agency, but even a guy like Jeff Green, Luke Mbah-a-Moute, those guys signed for pennies, and instead they went in with essentially nobody at small forward.
Absolutely, especially now you got the injury to Solomon Hill, so that's a good point. I was going to say the same thing. I mean, Rondo, depending what Rondo are we going to get the Rondo we saw in the first two games of the first round of the playoffs as a backup? I mean, and obviously I think we're going to see some lineups with Rondo and Holiday in it, at the same time with Holiday playing the two. But you're right. They did not get enough wing help, and wings with size. And James hit on it too. We all like Ian Clark, can shoot the ball, can handle it a little bit, but he's 6'3". They have no size in that wing position, at the shooting guard and small forward position. Pondexter hasn't played in 15 years. He's always hurt. Solomon Hill now is basically done for the season. I think 6 to 8 months. So, I mean, what are you going to do? They just have nobody at that wing position, and as good as Cousins and Anthony Davis are, I just don't know if that's going to be enough. and can they coexist? Because we know it's a different game now, the way the game is played. Yes, they can both play like that perimeter-oriented game. They can both shoot, put it on the floor a little bit, got some post game. But it's going to be really tough with these guys, not picking up a serviceable wing guy that with some size, some length, can do it all. I mean, you look at the guys like Antetokounmpo, Paul George, Jimmy Butler. These guys are all long, 6'7", 6'8". In Antetokounmpo's case, like damn near 7 foot. Kevin Durant. I mean, they just don't have that. And I mean,
whoa, dude, hold on, man. You going to downplay Darius Miller and Jalen Jones?
That's fair. You know what? I'm glad you pointed that out because no, it's fair. I think Darius. Well, I'm going to get to that, but I'll say it now. I know it's a spoiler. Darius Miller may have to start now. And no knock on him. I mean, he was good at Kentucky. He played with Anthony Davis and all that in college. But, I mean, if Darius Miller's your starting small forward in open, I mean, that's not exactly what you want to hear if you're a Pelicans fan,
So but I guess my question, like what Brady was saying, how they they pretty much kind of brought Rondo in to appease Boogie Cousins.
Yeah,
they want to keep Boogie. I guess that's like, isn't that putting the cart before the horse? Because like it should be. Let's show him some success and make the playoffs and get him to try to stay.
Yes.
Because guess what? Yep. Not a lot of teams are going to have money for Boogie, next season when he's a free agent. So I don't get what there's not a better place for him, So yeah, you show him that you're trying to win instead of bringing in Rondo, get some shooters around them. And it's just crazy. PJ Tucker went for cheap,
Yeah, you know what? Exactly. And you know what? Maybe they could have made it. You know who would have helped? A guy like Alan Crabb. You could have made a trade for a guy like him, right? I think he would fit in nicely on a team like this.
But then you're paying Alan Crabb. Well, even if you move pieces around, you're paying Alan Crabb, Boogie, and Brow, like a combined like almost 100. And then throw in Drew, and you're paying like 4 guys like over $100 million.
That's true. That's actually a very good point. Actually, a very good point. But I think all this is a good leeway into their depth chart. We like when we do these previews, I like to go in with the starters and the bench. And I'm going to go to you first, Brady. How do you think this starting lineup shapes out? I mean, I know it's going to be kind of ugly at that wing position.
It is, and that's really the only question mark. Obviously, you got Cousins and Anthony Davis in the front court. I would be shocked if Rondo isn't starting alongside Drew Holiday.
So weird and stupid as it is. So you think Holiday ends up playing the 2 to start out the season?
I think he's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
it's stupid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what's their options? I'm looking at their roster now. What are the options? Really?
Yeah. I mean, they don't have a shooting guard either.
The only thing, I think the only. I mean, I could see maybe Jordan Crawford because he did some things. He can put the ball in the basket, but I don't like him as a starting shooting guard. But maybe you go there.
Yeah, I agree, but they don't have
he's
much
definitely been
options there.
Yeah, his career, he's a bench, a bench firecracker.
Definitely.
So yeah.
The only problem if you start Rondo and Holiday now is who's your backup point guard.
Well, yeah.
So no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brady. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to agree and mostly say I think they'll stagger minutes a lot after they start the game together.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, you have them both play for the first 5 or 6 minutes, and you sit one down, and then one guy finishes out the quarter pretty much, and then the other guy starts on the next quarter, starting the game. And then you might sit him down like maybe for a couple minutes, and then you might end the quarter with both of them or something. But or however the game flow goes. But yeah, you definitely start both, and then you just kind of stagger them and let whoever run the offense.
Who now? Obviously, I guess we're pretty much all in agreement. Rondo probably starts with Drew Holiday playing the 2. Maybe it's Crawford, but I know it sounds bad. Who's the 3? Is it going to be Darius Miller at the 3 just because of size purposes? I mean, it's crazy. They really have problems.
I mean, like, how big is Etuan Moore's only like 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah,
right?
He's only. I would bet. I'd say he's closer to 6'3.5".
There you go. He's not even that big. So I mean, you're kind of stuck, man. I mean, how big is Pondexter?
He's out though. He's still hurt. That's the problem. He's about 6'7", 6'8", but that's what I'm saying. He hasn't played in about 27 years. Right. Yeah, and
he's supposed to be back in time though, right? Pondexter?
I'm not saying anything. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything on Quincy Pondexter. I just know he hasn't played in 27 years. So
It just really sucks that they have like what 15, 17 million wrapped up in Ajinka and Ashik.
Yeah,
that's killer. So I love this. I love the combination. I love the thought that they try to go jumbo, and they try to zig while else was zagging. And both Brow and Boogie are so talented. You know what I mean? It seems like it is actually the foundation of a possible team that can maybe challenge some of the better teams that are in the pace and space revolution, but they just don't have enough around them, man. They're missing so much.
But as long as we're talking about that hole at small forward, we got to mention how horribly dumb they were for giving up Armored Caspi.
Yeah.
Because they sacrificed his bird rights so that they could sign Reggie Williams with 2 weeks in the season.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had him easily back at small forward. That's just this huge hole in their lineup, and they just gave him away. I think they played Reggie Miller like 20 minutes all season, and they sacrificed Caspi's bird rights. They could have had him for $4 million.
And Caspi can play. I mean, he's 6'9", 6'10", can shoot from the outside. He's tough. The guy is tough. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
He's a good fit with that front court because he can shoot.
Yes,
he's been perfect. Yeah,
and he's played with Boogie before in Sacramento, so that helps.
You know what, guy? Hey, Pelican fans out there, I'm sorry to say this, but like I almost feel in a way your front office has so mishandled the Brow era that if Brow does, finish up this contract and he's ready to leave, and because he signed a 5-year extension and he's signed through, I don't know, was it 2020, 21?
I think so.
If he decides to leave, you can't blame him because you can't. This is not how you treat a franchise type player.
Absolutely not. That is correct. Now let's go to their bench. We've talked about their. I mean, we obviously know Holiday, Cousins, and AD are going to be, those are the mainstays in the starters. Well, what's this bench going to look like? I mean, that's going to be just as ugly. I'm going to go to you, James, on this one.
I'm looking at the roster. There's Charles Cook. I don't know who that is. Then you got. I like Sheik Diallo. I like him as a prospect,
out of Kansas, right?
Yeah, as a prospect, I think he's gonna be all right. Then I like Etuan Moore as a kind of a role guy, as a third, fourth guard. There's just not enough shooting. There's not enough size. Not enough versatility. You got a bunch of single position players who narrowly fit a role. So I mean, Brow and Boogie are gonna have to really just be at their total best, and they're gonna have to expend so much energy doing everything that we'll see how it looks, man. It's gonna be fascinating, I think.
Are we possibly looking at Boogie and AD playing 42, 43 minutes a game each? Because of this?
They can't do that. They just can't.
I agree. I agree. Unless you're playing for Tom Thibodeau. Then it's possible. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they do. Ashik can be a serviceable backup, play 10 minutes a game, play a little defense at Jinsa. So yeah, Brady, what do you think of this bench? I mean, what about Jordan Crawford? Guy can come off and get some buckets.
They're going to have to give Crawford a lot of minutes for sure because they don't have any bench scoring really other than him. But they have this kind of fundamental problem where as soon as they go to the bench, you don't have any scoring unless you put in Crawford and Clark. And Crawford and Clark are both horrible defensive players. So you're going to get hit one way or the other with this team, and that's never a good place to be. But I think we're going to see a lot of minutes for Crawford, pretty good amount of minutes for Clark, and for Etuan Moore. They'll probably go a few small ball lineups in there as well.
Yeah, and Moore. Are you speaking of back? Moore can play a little point for you if you need him.
Yeah, Moore can play a little point, which brings us to another point. They also let Tim Frazier go for nothing. A weird move.
And he was really good for them last year. And he was really good for them last year. Yeah,
very good for them. So that was a horrible move.
So guys, we're talking a rotation of Rondo, Drew. I don't know, Darius Miller.
Boogie and AD.
Boogie and AD. That's your 5, and then the bench: Ian Clark and Jordan Crawford, 6, 7.
I think Moore might play the 3. Yeah, and Moore probably plays the 3. Yeah, Ashik and
maybe
Jinsa.
some Ashik in there.
Yeah, Jinsa. That bench is looking ugly. It is not pretty.
They're definitely going to have to stagger Boogie and Davis. I mean, you can't not have one of them on the floor.
Yeah.
So here's my question to you guys: over under the average of Kawhi, KD, LeBron, and like Paul George against the Pelicans. I say the over. I'm sitting at 32.5.
I go over.
Yeah, I might have to. I might have
because
to.
wings are going to just feast. Scoring wings are going to feast against those guys.
Oh, it's gonna be. It's really gonna be ugly. They just don't have the size at the wing position. I mean, because like Brady said, I mean, you're gonna see Etuan Moore playing some 3 for him. He has to kind of by default, and I think he probably
defensively
he did a little bit
have to have
last
Rondo
year.
playing 3.
Yeah,
boy.
I mean, and Rondo's not defensively what he used to be.
At all.
You know, after no. I mean, the effort. Yeah, I mean, you know, he tore his ACL a few years back. He's just not the same guy defensively that he once was. You know, I think that's kind of a false narrative. People think he's a great defender. He's not really a great defender anymore. You know, I think all of us are probably in agreement on that. Which is going to now put even more pressure on Boogie and AD down low to block shots and protect that rim and rebound the missed shots. It's just not looking good for this team, which I think is another perfect segue into kind of our outlook, what we think is going to happen with this team. But I want to start it off a little differently. And James, how do you think the Boogie AD pairing is going to work for a full season now?
I think good, man. It's sometimes to me it's hard to overcome just plain talent, and they're both so talented that even though if it's not a perfect fit, you know, but you know they both can handle. They're both smart players. They're both like multi-talented. So it's almost like a inside version of Bron and Wade, right? They're just very similar, but they're so talented that they can kind of overwhelm you at times, and that's I guess what they're going to have to hope for. But they can't just be really good; they have to be consistently excellent for them to make the playoffs.
Yes, yeah. Do you think they can do that? I mean, you know, I think it's a big question.
So, I mean, we know that the West is going to be, you know, Golden State at the top, and then in some order, it's going to be Houston, OKC, San Antonio, Minnesota, and Denver, right? It's like 6 teams, I think. I don't know how many I just named.
Yep, that's 6, yeah.
Yeah, so then, I mean, Utah, the Clippers, I think the Utah and Clippers both have a leg up on the Pelicans just because of, you know, better roster balance and you know, the Utah defense and experience. So they have an outside shot. I mean, I want to be optimistic. I'm really high on Boogie and Brow together. I just don't know if there's enough around them unless they can figure out to move this, you know, during the season. They can make a move and bring in a wing.
Absolutely. Brady, what is your look on these two guys playing together, and just the overall outlook for the Pelicans this year? Do you see them in the playoffs?
I don't see them in the playoffs, no. I think they can make it, but I definitely don't think they will. I think those 8 teams that James listed are all in a much better position. I think you can make a case for Memphis and Portland as well.
There you go. You know what? I missed those too. So, oh man, it looks really bleak for the Pelicans.
Yeah. So I think they'll be more likely to be in that 10 or 11 range. But they can because, you know, like James said, you put talent together, things can happen. It's never a bad thing to have that much talent. I like the pairing. Partially, I just like it because it's new. Much of it in the league, it's evolution. It's forcing other teams to adapt because you have all these teams moving in a small ball direction, and suddenly you're throwing 2 pieces.
Yeah, let me ask you this, man. I mean, I know he was kind of on the downside of his career at the time, but I mean, this is the best, you know, big man duo we've seen since Duncan and the Admiral. Right? I
mean, the Wallaces probably have a chance there.
Yeah. I know David Robinson was kind of on the downside at the end of his career there, but he was still a pretty good NBA player.
Yeah, and he has a good point. He just said the Wallaces, right? Ben and Rashid in 04. Yeah. So but, you know, I think we know that Ben, as awesome as he was defensively, he was so limited offensively.
He was butt cheeks offensively.
So I mean, it worked well together, though.
Exactly.
I'll say this: Tim Duncan's first year, and then Dave Robinson was still pretty spry. You know, even though he just missed like the season before almost. He was still really good that next season. So yeah, this is probably the best combo. But the league has changed so much around him, and you know who's sure. Drew could be like the Manu / Tony Parker kind of guy, but where's the rest of the players? That's where the trouble.
And I think the big thing with Holiday is like he's had an injury history. So is he going to stay healthy this year? You know.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. There's just so many ifs with this team. Anthony Davis has had injury problems. You know, I think that, and I actually, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Boogie AD thing. I mean, it's obvious they're great players. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna work well together just because they're so good, and their skill set allows them to both work off of each other. Because both of them can pretty much do the same thing. One can play outside, one can play inside. You can interchange it. When one goes to the bench, it's gonna work. They're great players. They're gonna figure it out. And I know the game is played differently, but I think they can figure out how to exploit other teams. But this team, we didn't. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here, also with some teams we didn't mention, teams like the Lakers and the Kings. And I'm not saying they're going to be great, but everybody who saw our Kings preview set knows that I think they're going to be in playoff contention going into the last month. But if those young guys all figure it out quicker than we expect, that just throws another monkey wrench into it. Makes it even tougher for New Orleans to get in. I'm not the biggest Portland fan. I don't know how good they're going to be this year. They'll be close, but.
I'm a big Dame believer. I
love Damian Lillard. Oh yeah, I love Damian Lillard. That dude is, and I love CJ McCollum too. Those guys are unbelievable. But I want to see more out of Nurkic. We don't know. I mean, he had a nice small sample size with them, and they were much better when they traded for him. But I think it's going to be tough for New Orleans to get. I got him finishing like 12th. As good as AD and Boogie are. It is going to be really tough because, is Holiday going to be healthy? And then the supporting cast outside of Holiday it's trash. I mean, they're probably the worst supporting cast of any superstars in the league.
So I will say that I'm looking at ESPN for the rosters. I'm just looking at the roster, and on the splash page for the Pelicans, like their homepage, one of the articles is summer forecast. Is Rajon Rondo the worst newcomer?
Damn! See, that's unfair. I think that's a tad bit unfair. I get why they say it. Yeah, I think so.
Is it?
I think so. I think so. I
mean,
I don't think Rajon Rondo is definitely not who he was pre-ACL.
So here's what ESPN had. They had a poll, and they had Dwight Howard, Tim Hardaway Jr., Rajon Rondo, Gallinari, or Derrick Rose as the worst newcomer.
How can they put Derrick Rose? He's getting paid nothing. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's still a newcomer. He's still going to play. He's going to be the backup point guard. He's going to play a pretty good sized role.
He'll probably start if Isaiah Thomas is. If that trade goes through, he's probably going to start at the beginning of the season. I would imagine. I mean, for a guy like what I saw in New York last year out of Derrick Rose, the 17 points, 5 assists, 46, 47. I mean, $2 million for that, I'll take it.
It's not about the money. Well, first of all, I'll disagree because his game is so big and he still thinks he's that kind of star. Even at $2 million, I would be hesitant to have him on my team because I'm like, dude, we're trying to do things here, and Rose wants to be that guy still.
Yeah, so I think that's fair. That's actually fair because I think Rose can still be a decent NBA player, but like you said, he still thinks he's MVP Rose.
Yes,
and that's I see. But here's the thing, though. Will playing with LeBron James kind of, squash that a little bit because we saw what LeBron has done with guys like J.R. Smith and stuff. So playing with LeBron, will that help a little bit?
Don't forget, we used to watch Derrick Rose try to go toe to toe with LeBron James. You see what I'm saying? I still don't think he doesn't. I don't know if he still understands where he is as a player.
I don't think so. This guy said the Knicks were a super team last year.
I mean, these are all fair points. And the NBA season is a beautiful thing, and we're going to find out. If it works, it could end up being one of the best signings of the season. But I guess like where James is going, it could be the worst if he still thinks he's MVP Rose. But Rondo, I think
it's not going to be as bad as Hardaway, though, because at least if he's bad, you can cut him. You don't have 3 more years on the books.
I like Tim Hardaway Jr. as a player, though. I know we talked about him on our Knicks preview, but I like him as a player. I just think he's getting paid.
I love him at $8 million a year.
Yeah, he's overpaid. That's true. But I also like him too.
He's a good player. He's just getting paid.
Oh yeah, he's a solid player. It's just an absurd amount of money.
Real quick, I know this is the Pelicans, but you weren't on with us for the Knicks, and I don't mean to take it to the Knicks, but James, I got to ask: is Tim Hardaway Jr. going to start for them?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, thank you. I agree. I agree. Just because he's getting paid too much, you're not paying him that much to come off the bench.
Yeah, they didn't pay him to come off the bench. Yeah, he's starting. Oh yeah, they're gonna give him every chance to succeed or fail. They're gonna roll him out there.
Brady actually thinks they could go Tim Hardaway Jr. and Courtney Lee as the backcourt. Could you see that? Or do you see them going like Sessions as the starter to start the season?
They definitely should go Courtney Lee and Tim Hardaway Jr. if you want to have the best two players on the court. Yeah. Because I don't like Sessions at all. Sessions is not a good basketball player.
No. And he's older now. That speed he once had that we all loved when the Lakers traded for him, that's gone now. He's not that guy anymore.
Exactly.
And he wasn't really that good then.
So check this out. I had a guy, one of Brady's compatriots, one of them, tell me.
Yes. Hey, real quick, James. Real quick. Let all our listeners know what them are. Let them know what them.
It's them.
They might not know them
with a trademark, a TM beside it. Them are the people who say stuff like, DeMar DeRozan is not good at basketball because of efficiency. Them are the players who say are the writers and bloggers who say stuff like, well, of course Steph Curry is better than Kevin Durant. And then when I say, well, their coach, actually one coach of the year, he says Kevin Durant's better. They say, oh, well, he's just a manager. I don't trust him with the X's and O's. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's who them is. And hey, Brady, how you doing, buddy? So yeah.
That was a direct quote.
Yes. So them are the people who are so entrenched in the numbers of basketball that they'll even contradict what their eyes see. And volume scoring doesn't matter if it's not efficient. And Chris Paul is the greatest and one of the best ever because he's so efficient. Even if he's getting his butt smoked by superior players all the time. But there's so many excuses for him because of the playoffs. That's who them is. So yeah, them. That's who them is, and them.
By the way, Brady, James is not naming any names here.
No.
All I'm saying is, I think them they don't like basketball. They like the numbers that basketball generates, so they can play with them in their lab and with their abacus. That's who them is. So
that was beautiful, James.
Thank you.
Hey, whatever floats their boat, man. I don't try to, I can't tell somebody how to be a fan. I can just tell you when you are being a shitty fan, and some of them.
Hey, you know what? I'll say this. Let me say this, James. I do believe Chris Paul is a top point guard of all time, but he's not in my top. I wouldn't put him in my top 5.
And you're a smart guy, but someone will tell you they'll break out his VORP and his RAPM and his defensive, PSPS threes percentage.
I think Chris Paul's. The big. If he could actually get a team to the at least the conference finals, maybe we could talk. But you got guys like Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, Zeke, Magic Johnson, obviously, Oscar Robertson. These guys have all gotten to the finals and won championships, except for Westbrook, but he got there as a young player.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to put the playoff thing on him. I just, like I said, our guy, Jonathan, was it Tjarks?
I don't know. Go ahead. What do you say?
He writes for The Ringer, and he does excellent work, and he does a good job of explaining how, as efficient as Chris Paul is, his physical limitations kind of just limit him when the defenses get tighter, and there's no bad players for him to pick on, and that's why he's he kind of he might struggle a little bit in playoff. There's exceptions, like against the Spurs he went off and that was great, but then the next round he let his foot off the neck of the Rockets and they came back and they beat him on the back of Corey Brewer.
God. And James Harden wasn't even in the game.
On the bench.
Exactly.
Yes.
So sooner or later it's like, what's the common denominator? The little stumpy point guard. So whatever.
You know what? I've been a big fan of Chris Paul since he came in the league. But I totally get all the criticism of him.
He's good. I get tired of the people who just worship him. He's good. He's really good. I get tired of the people.
He's an all-time great point guard, but he's not better than Stockton. He's not better than Curry, West. I wouldn't put him ahead of those guys.
I put him ahead of Stockton.
I wouldn't. I can't put him. I will admit I'm one of. I guess I would say in this case I'm one of where I look at the 2 NBA Finals appearances and the countless conference Finals appearances, and that means a lot to me.
How good do you think John Stockton would have been without arguably the best pick and roll man in NBA history for his entire career?
I don't know. I think he'd be still pretty good.
I just saw Chris Paul play with probably the most athletic power forward ever for 6 years.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I think John Stockton, whoever he played with, would have made whoever he played with very good. John Stockton.
I mean, I'm not discrediting Stockton. I think he's.
Yeah, I mean, his athlete was not athletic. And, you know, relatively speaking to the average person, yeah, he's athletic, but in the NBA, no. But I still think John Stockton would have been great. And, you know, I'll put Kuzi as one of the top point guard. I know we all talk, well, Kuzi could only dribble right hand, but it's all relative. Because if you think.
Nah, fuck that. Nope, I'm not putting. Nope, Kuzi played against fucking Milkman and fucking.
And that's all fair, but this is the one argument I always make. If Kuzi played in today's gen, he would have all the training and everything we do now. He would have that at his disposal.
Well,
that's why I think he'd be better.
If with a spliff, we'd all be Bob Marley. All right,
that's
play
fair.
The if game all you want to.
That's fair. I look at it as from a training aspect and all that. I mean, that's how I see it. It's fair. It's fair for those who think he would if you take that Bob Cousy and put him into yes, he would get his ass dominated. It wouldn't be funny. He'd be lucky if he could compete with TJ McConnell, who I do like as a backup point guard.
Let's play a little game. I would love to see Tyrus Thomas come in the league today because they would turn him into one of the best power forwards in the NBA.
I was just thinking about Tyrus Thomas the other day.
Absolutely. Or hey, I'm gonna one up you. How about Stromile Swift?
Woo!
Right?
Well, you know, he actually was a power forward back then, and he just I think he rather smoke weed. Wasn't he the weed head?
I don't know if it was. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know, there's one guy before we get into our bold prediction because I know James has to get off here soon. He's got another pod he's got to do. But one guy who, if he didn't have some of the problems that the emotional problem and stuff, God rest his soul, Eddie Griffin. Imagine him in today's NBA.
Yeah, he's tailor-made. I think he was shooting threes even back then.
Yes, so absolutely he was. He would have been fantastic. Go ahead.
Lamar Odom.
Yeah, I said the other day. I said he'd be a superstar right now. People would start arguing.
Absolutely.
With me.
Hey, you know what's funny? Hey, James, real quick. If you don't want to answer this, you don't have to. How old are you? There's a reason I ask.
I'm old as dirt.
Okay. You're probably close to we're probably close. I was a senior in high school the year Lamar Odom came into the NBA. And I remember when he came in out of Rhode Island, we were just we were fawning over this guy. 6'9", 6'10", could handle it like a point guard, had the court vision. Like he'd be tailor-made for today's game. Could shoot the ball.
Yeah, we came to Clippers as the goods, and he was averaging like 16, 6 and 6 or whatever. He was really good, and he never turned the superstar people thought he might be. But once he got to the Lakers, and he was able to just be that kind of complimentary player, we saw how much he had, what kind of game he had, and he was amazing, man. He was definitely amazing.
I remember. I'm going to tell this story, then I'm going to finish this up with our last segment. I went to my buddy used to get free tickets to Rockets games, so we went to and this was Lamar Odom's second year in the league. They had Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, and those guys. So we get to the Rockets game, and it was when they played at the Summit/Compact. I think it was Compact Center at the time. And Lamar Odom's warming up. This fool's doing drills with like 3 balls, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the best ball handler I've ever seen in my life." Yes, true story. I was shocked. That dude could really handle the rock. But I'm going to get into our bold predictions now. Brady, what's a bold prediction for this New Orleans team? It could be a player for the team or both. Your choice.
I don't have anything too bold, but I think I don't think Alvin Gentry is going to make it through the season.
Nice.
That's a good one.
That's my biggest prediction. I just don't. I think he's too traditional of a coach.
That's
and it's not going to work with the front court. And yeah, it's realistic. I can't see anything too crazy happening with this team unless they really decide that they're screwed and try to sell off one of those dudes. But I don't think that's very realistic. I think they're going to gut it out, try to win with a decent player and a bunch of crap.
Good point.
And when that doesn't work, they're going to put the blame on their coach instead of on their GM, which in this case isn't actually a bad move. I think Alvin Gentry is going to be a scapegoat, but I also don't think he's
Gentry's not a head coach. I don't think he's a head coach. Gentry's a good assistant. That's my take.
Not in 2017. He's not a head coach.
No, I'm saying. But I mean,
though, because it's like me giving a chef, and we say how good a chef you are. I give him like some moldy potatoes and like 2 nice sirloins and like a bunch of crappy ingredients. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's why I said he's going to be the scapegoat.
That's fair. What about you, James?
Right. My hot take.
Yeah, what's your hot take? I know you got one for us.
I'll go hot just for the Pelicans fans out there, man. I'm pulling for you guys. So Boogie and Brown make the All-Star team, and both of them end up having All-NBA type seasons. And the Pelicans snatch the 6th seed.
Nice. I like it. That is fair. I like it. That is a hot take. Now,
hey guys. Hey, both of you guys, real quick. I don't believe that at all. I'm giving the listeners something to hold on to.
I won't tell your secret.
Here's hold on, one more. I got an alternative hot take. And my real one. Boogie's traded by the All-Star break.
Damn it! You stole mine.
Okay.
That was actually my hot take, but I'm going to take it a step further. He's going to get traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh snap!
Yeah, I'm just going to say, when Nick Wright, like someone posted today, like this little thing that Nick Wright was saying, if Wade gets bought out, potential Cavs starting lineup. Well, where'd this come from? But I saw the episode on the Herd with Colin Cowherd. I saw the context of it. I'm actually with him on that. I think that's actually possible.
Okay, so I got one question for you, bro. What the hell are you doing watching the Herd?
I don't watch the Herd. I watch the clips on YouTube.
No. Don't try to backtrack now.
No, I do. I really do. I don't actually watch it on TV. I watch the clips on YouTube, and I choose because I can watch what segments of the show that I want. I only watch the NBA stuff. But I don't like Nick Wright. I think he's
watching clips of the Herd on YouTube is like watching highlights of synchronized swimming.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I like hearing these crazy takes.
I'm pretty disappointed, Matt. You know what? You were at level 10. You were up there at top.
Damn, I dropped to level 6 now, right?
You're like 7.5, man.
It's entertaining. It's entertaining stuff. I also I watch all the clips.
Now you're doubling down. You're down to like a 6. You're dropping steadily right now by doubling down.
No, it's a fair hot take though. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I think the Cavs. Go ahead. Ask me. I'm ready for it.
If you want entertaining sports opinions, just follow me and James.
That's right. Because you're one of them.
Banter back and forth.
I can follow them, right, James?
I have made a pledge. I don't discuss basketball with Brady on the Twitter.com because I wanted to tell him that he eats shit like daily. But I don't do that. I want to, but I don't.
You just kind of told him, though.
No, we're co-workers at B-Ball Breakdown. I respect his agency to have terrible, shitty opinions, so I don't say anything to him about them. And I'm hoping he changes his avatar on Twitter because he looks way less douchey in real life. Guys, I can see him on this pod. I can see him. He looks like a regular kind of Adam Levine face guy.
Let me speak on that. I asked him about that.
I did too. He told me. He likes being picked on by.
Yeah. He does it on purpose, yes. Hey, if he wants people to come at him, hey, more power to him, right?
Yeah, you know what? Some people believe that any attention is good attention, I guess. So whatever.
Yes. But I think that's going to wrap us up for now. We will definitely be back. James is going to be back with us again tomorrow with Alana Tahauer. We got the Chicago Bulls tomorrow. That should be interesting. Saying as how I am a Bulls fan. Alana lives in Chicago. So that's going to be interesting. I know James has probably a lot to say about that horrible franchise that is the Bulls.
I'll make sure I don't eat first because if I did, I would vomit talking about them. So I'll make sure
that's what we got. It's going to be around the same time tomorrow.
I don't. But real quick,
I want to go to James first because I know he's got to bounce and do another pod real quick. Hey, let the people know where they can find your work at.
At Snotty Drippin' on Twitter, and then bballbreakdown.com, where me and Brady both write, and then at realballinsiders.com, which is a nice little site where we're doing some fun things.
Nice. Hey, and you got the little shout out there from James there, Brady. But let them know where they can find you at too. I haven't gone to you for this that much. Let them know.
Yep, you can find me Brady Klopfer NBA on Twitter. If you can't spell that, go find the tweet that led you to this video.
Hey, real quick before you finish, I'm going to interrupt you like the asshole that I can be. He is one of them. Just to let you know, Brady's one of them.
I'm definitely one of them. Though,
look at the numbers.
He wears the badge. Hey, James,
I was say something wise.
Proudly. He wears that badge proudly.
I only wear it proudly because James labeled me as such. That makes it a
hey, you know what?
Prideful badge.
Hey. You got to take it. Wear it.
Look at this. Square root of hypotenuse.
Pythagorean theorem times 2x pi is what?
4 jump shots times 3.14.
Where'd you guys find home videos of me from 5th grade?
Damn.
That's unbelievable.
Yes. Go ahead, Brady. Finish up, man.
You can find my them articles at B-Ball Breakdown and Golden State of Mind.
Yes.
And Twitter.
Outstanding.
Oh,
all
hey,
right,
real quick,
everybody.
Matt.
Go ahead, James. You got it.
Because
you got
Chris Axman would kill me. We do the Bod Pod, and I do podcasting with Dave DeFore and Chris Axman over at the Almighty Baller Podcast Network. So yeah, Chris, don't yell at me because I bet he's gonna think I forgot.
That's all good stuff, especially my man.
Dave
DeFore he's that dude. For everybody who doesn't know him, follow him at Dave DeFore NBA on Twitter. Follow him. He is that dude. But that is going to wrap us up for this evening. We will be back tomorrow with James and Alana Tahower, and hopefully Gonzo's with us again. He had to work tonight, so he wasn't able to jump in. But hopefully we got him back tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls tomorrow. That is going to be a lot of fun, especially since I am a Bulls fan. So we'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern, around that time. Sometimes you want a little late. It happens. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. But once again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern.